So we covered quite a bit of content over the last few lectures. So what we're going to do now, instead of introducing some new content, we're going to take some time and absorb everything we've learned, and we're going to use it to build a small, simple little application. We are going to see one new thing, however, and that's one of my favorite features, the single file components feature. So what I'm going to do is create a new single file component. I'm going to call it app, and this is going to have the Vue extension, and we're going to see what this means in just a moment. I'm also going to remove my index.js file and create a new one because we're going to be starting over from scratch. First thing I'm going to do is head into my index.js file, and we're going to create our new application. The first thing I'm going to do is go ahead and import create app, and that comes from Vue. We're not using the Vue ESM extension anymore, and the reason we're not using that is because if we're using single file components, Vue will figure out what to do, or Vite will figure out what to do rather, so we're able to use this regular Vue import. We will talk a little bit about modules in the future, but for now, we're just going to be doing this. The next thing we're going to be doing is importing our app, and that's going to come from the app.vue file. And the final thing we're going to do is create our new application. So we're just going to say create app and pass in our component. In this case, it's going to be app. And then we're going to do mount on that same div we were using earlier. The next thing we're going to do is head over to the app.vue file, and we're going to start writing our first single file component. And a single file component has three main features. The first, or three main areas rather. The first is going to be the template tag, which I'm going to create now. The next is going to be script, which is where our JavaScript is going to live. And we've seen both of these already. This is the template key we were using earlier, and this is the rest of the code, for example, data, computed, and methods. Finally, we're going to have a style tag, and you can probably imagine what this is going to do. This is where our CSS is going to live. And we're able to keep all of our logic for each component in the same file, which is really convenient. We're just going to make sure this is working. I'm just going to do a quick little hello world in here to make sure we've got everything set up correctly. And then we're going to do export default. And this is what you have to do in all of your Vue components. So the content is going to be available to other components, such as in index.js, or you can import components to other components as well. The next thing we're going to do is just save this one off, head back to the browser and see if everything is working, and it is. Hello world is appearing. One other thing we're going to see before we move on is you can put a scoped tag here. And what this is going to mean is the style is going to be scoped to this single Vue file. So any style I write inside of here is only going to be applied to this template here, none of the children or the parents. And this is really convenient. It stops you having to put obscure and strange class and IDs to make sure the styles don't leak out into other components. Just to demonstrate this, I'm going to style the div by putting div here and just say color is red. And if we save this off, we can see the color is going to become red. And this is only going to style divs inside of this template. If we have some other components here that contain divs, those are not going to become red. And we're going to see that soon enough. For now, I'm just going to remove this because we don't need it, but we're going to be writing some more style sheets later on. So everything is now working correctly, and the rest of this series of lectures is going to be revision. We're going to use the same techniques we've used, but we're going to build a nice kind of exciting application to really see and drive home the content that we've learned so far.